Hey, I'm Steve Speck here at Exo Mountain Gear. Me, Justin, and Mark are actually on day 3 of a 3-day backcountry bear hunt. We hiked in here on Tuesday. Mark and Justin, we got 2 bears down yesterday, packed them back to camp, and now we're gonna hike out. So had a little opportunity here this morning to show you how I load my pack, and basically this is as real as it gets, right? We're on this hunt. We're not in a studio setting, so this is truly everything I got with me. And I'm just going to load up the pack, go through some little nuanced things, just talk through the process as I do it. So starting off, I've got a K4 3600. For accessories, I'm running 1 hip belt pouch, a Nalgene, as well as some stash pockets. 3600 is basically my kind of default pack. I go to it on pretty much any hunt until it's like really late season. And like maybe a 7-day hunt in November, am I going to jump up to a 5,000? But for the most part, as long as you're really mindful about your food, as far as packaging that, because that's going to take up the most space. That's really the only difference on a long hunt is, the amount of food. That the base gear doesn't really change, except maybe an extra pair of socks or something. So starting off, Katabatic Alsec 30 or 32 degree quilt. This thing's fantastic, can take it down into the 20s, and I just sleep in my puffy jacket and stuff like that if I need to be warmer. So I just take that and simply stuff it into the bottom. No stuff sack, nothing. Just goes into the bottom of the pack. And you just keep squeezing the air out of it. Now, next, Thermarest Neo Air pad. Again, I don't use stuff sacks, I don't do anything, I just roll it up tight. And I'm just gonna take that and just kind of push it down in there with a sleeping bag. Sea to Summit little pillow, same deal. Just kind of start filling gaps and spaces down there. So next, usually I'll take my extra clothes. On this hunt, because of ticks, I brought like a whole extra set of clothes to sleep in, just so at night I feel like I've got fresh clothes to sleep in. We actually got lucky and didn't have a whole lot of ticks on the hunt, so I never did it. But same deal, I just keep packing things down around my quilt down there. Extra pair of socks. So next, this is a Outdoor Vitals 40th 1-person tent. Normally I run a bivy sack and tent on this hunt, or a bivy sack with a tarp over it. On this hunt, because of ticks, I don't know, I just like the idea of being in a bigger, more enclosed tent. This is pretty dang wet, and so we get this question asked a lot, like what do we do in the morning with a wet tent from dew and rain and things like that. And if I got to pack up first thing in the morning, depending on how wet it is, you can always use the water bladder sleeve. So I'm just going to do that now, and instead of like wadding it in, I'm just going to kind of just grab a little piece and just start pushing it all the way down into the bottom, just like that. So now you can see that tent on the inside taking up some space. Normally what also goes in here in that water bladder sleeve from the top, I throw my game bags in. Kind of a great out of sight, out of mind thing. I run a Hydra Pack Seeker 3-liter bag with a Be-Free filter. So that's right here. I also run, this is the standard 1-liter bag that comes with it. I also run this one extra of these as just a backup, because if the bag were to break, you wouldn't be able to filter water. This weighs absolutely nothing, and definitely a must-have. So that usually goes down in that bladder sleeve as well. And then in the top of the bladder sleeve, you got a stash pocket loop here. This is where I've got my knife. I've actually got extra bullets, rope in there. I got gloves for processing animal. And that's just right there at the top. Nice and easy to get to. So as I move on down the line, this is my regular stash pocket. So this has got battery bank, cables. I've got Advil, Leuko tape, lighter, just kind of all those random essential things that you normally need on a hunt. And I plug that right here into the top of the zipper. So it's right there inside that main axis. I always know where it is, easy to get to. Next item is food. Obviously we're down to 1 day of food. I brought an extra meal. So this is a meal from Alpine Ranch. This is actually leftover from last year on our moose hunt. So I take, generally if I'm trying to save space in the pack, if I'm trying to make this 3600 into a 7-day pack, dehydrated meals usually have a lot of air inside of them. So what I'll do is repackage them, vacuum seal in a small bag like this, and you can see how much less space that takes up. So I can just put that just kind of anywhere. And then my extra food bags, I've actually kind of got quite a bit of air in this. You just squeeze that air out, seal it up, and then you get each day a bag and each day into 1 bag of there. And again, same concept, next to the zipper, close for access. This is actually just my trash from the last few days. Usually I'll just take that and throw it like in a side pocket, something just completely out of the way. If we have a campfire, I'll burn it. Stove, so Jetboil, same concept, right next to the zipper, so it's there when I need it. Puffy jacket, I want good access to it, so that's going to go right in here as well. Rain gear. This, normally I'm not bringing rain gear unless the weather really calls for it. This hunt it did. We had rain kind of off and on the first 2 days. I got Sitka pants and a KUIU jacket. We ran both of these full sets last year on our Alaska hunts. Both of these performed really, really well. I think this is Sitka Dew Point and KUIU Chugach TR, I believe is the name of it. KUIU was probably our favorite, with the Sitka a really close second. Moving on down the line, tent stakes. So I like to keep those out because I have like everything loose inside the bag. Sharp tent stakes to me shouldn't be in there. So I just run those in the bottom of the side pocket, tuck them down in there, out of sight, out of mind. My water filter, I obviously want quick access to that. And this whole process of loading the pack is definitely thinking about, okay, everything, especially in the bottom of the pack, is something I don't need until I get to camp tonight. Everything in the outside pockets close to the zipper are things I might want to get to while I'm hunting. So the water filter I like to run in this extra pocket right here on the side. Easy to get into. Wipes, generally running pretty low on wipes, but I'm going to put those right here in the front. Again, super drop the pack. You got to go in an emergency, you know exactly where those are. Spotting scope, we're going to burn, so it's been really, really a dirty hunt here. But I'm just going to run that in the side pocket here. Running a really right stuff tripod. For glassing, this head sucks, but everything else about it from a shooting perspective is fantastic. I'm working on like a lightweight solution so I can put a smaller head on there to glass with. If the pack is full, I had to do this kind of on the way in. One thing you can do, so we like to run this compression strap underneath with the idea of you don't really need this going over the top of the tripod. So I can cinch that up. I had the pack pretty full coming in, and you don't need to get all the legs of the tripod in, just one of them. So take that like that, and then you can just stick that in, and these other legs can just go right over the top. And if you're running a really compact tripod, it's not a bad idea to extend the legs just a little bit so that your compression strap's on the side. So right now I've got kind of that spine scope sitting here, the tripod tucked up next to it. And when we ship a pack, when you order it brand new, we send it with one set of locking buckles. So you could do, you basically got your male here and a female locking buckle you could put on the other side. The buckles are opposing. And these are really nice when you're wrapping around hard objects because it's not going to slide at all. So that's set up there. What else? Okay, headlamp, make sure I got it locked. This is a Phoenix one, the HM50 VR 2.0. Really like this. It's got one cool thing is it's got batteries. I'll just show you. We run, I don't know what's in here actually. Okay, this, never mind. So this is a stock battery. On S&S Archery, we also sell, and I've got 2 of them in the stash pocket, batteries from Nitecore, where they have a USB-C charger plug built right into it. So with your battery bank, you just plug right into the battery. They're actually higher capacity too. They're 950 milliamps, where the stock one of the Phoenix is 700. So that, opposite of the water filter, just gonna bury it right down in that pocket, but I always know it's there. It's getting dark, I'm on the trail or whatever, and I need to know where my headlamp is. It's always buried down there in the pocket. With my cell phone, sometimes I'll run some like gummy bears, as well as just put my phone in the pocket. We definitely sized this pocket, so this is an iPhone 15 Max or Pro, whatever. So one of the larger ones, sized so it fits into that pocket just fine. Crocs, so I've got basically items I need while I'm glassing. So running a phone scope, I got 2 different adapters here, one to go off of the SIG binos that Mark's carrying. This one works with the ATC spine scope that I'm carrying. We were able to, with the SIG binos, I was able to film the kill shot of Mark's bear just yesterday. And that's gonna go right here in the very top pocket of the lid. Keeps them with these kind of metal objects. I don't like throwing them in the lid so they're not just kind of rattling around a bunch. And I also run, I actually couldn't find my inReach Mini. The S&S Archery, we sell the Garmin stuff, so I grabbed a Messenger Plus and tried it out on this hunt. Really great battery life so far, and the messaging was super quick. Put that in the top. This one does have a, best of my knowledge, is a unidirectional antenna, so this needs to be pointing up towards the sky. If it's pointing down, I don't think you're going to get as good a signal, or even flat like a regular inReach, which goes great on the harness. We make the accessory for the inReach Mini, but this one does really well here in the lid, pointing up. And I got gloves to go in the lid. Normally, because we're down to 1 day of food, I would also run a food bag in here on the multiple days. I could have put my food bag in here as well, I just didn't. So the lid's basically empty for me. Lid straps. Buckle that up, buckle that. Oops. Do up my roll top collar. You can, on the hike in, when the bag was fuller, I ran my Crocs across the front. You can also run them over the top like this. And when I do that, just to make sure they don't fall out, so those aren't going anywhere. Then just take the lid. On this hunt, we generally started taking Crocs with us on a lot of hunts. Definitely when we're in Alaska, you got a lot of river crossings. Obviously, I'm all about saving every ounce I can on a hunt. But these things, we call them our all-terrains. We've done a lot of long pack outs just in Crocs, where we're crossing rivers and using the creeks almost as a road versus trying to fight the brush. This hunt in particular, we're going up, we got a creek where we're hunting bears on both sides of it and need the ability to cross quickly. So Crocs come in super handy there. So now I just go to the side. I've got my 6 Creedmoor here. I run the bolt into the pack. So and if I've run this in the past, it's easy for that to catch on brush. I like to run it against the pack. And then I'm just making sure that, because this is all exposed, that it's above the bottom of the pack. And I just take this compression strap. Again, I use a locking buckle here, and I just kind of wrap it right around the bottom of that. Put it up tight. And obviously with this setup, you don't get quick access. I've just found that it's not been an issue for me. If I'm in a situation where I know the shot is going to happen any moment. Obviously my gun's in my hand. Generally hiking in on the trail, or we spotted a bear up the mountain and we got to cross the river, climb a couple thousand feet. I love just having the gun really secure to the side of the pack, and then as we get close, then I take it off. I have yet to find a good solution with all the different chassis and how they're shaped down here for a way to do a quick access like we can do with our regular rifle carrier. Something I'm working on, just haven't developed it yet. So that's getting towards the end. I've got, we've been obviously filming a lot of content. Justin's packing a bigger camera. I've got this smaller A6700 with this quick adapter there. It's pretty handy. Nalgene full of water, Nalgene pocket, running an old school FHF Bino harness, and got my trekking poles for the pack out here. So we're actually gonna take this all apart, load it up with meat, and get on hiking out of here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For more information, you can check us out at exomountaingear.com.